All right, so welcome to another video from the chart readers. This is Stock Talks number 11. We're going to look at the oil and energy sector again. So it's actually been a little bit of a while since we reviewed this. The last time was July 26th. So this was the last full day of trading we saw. And really, it looks like our line still helped here. So we'll start with Occidental Petro, OXY. We're looking on the daily. You know, I haven't been hiding these. I've actually been leaving these here, so saves me a little time. But like I said just a minute ago, right? So the 26th was the last time we made this video, and we obviously made these horizontal lines, right? And really, I would say that this $65 line, right, 64 and change, it was a really hard line, right? So we basically tested it 1, 2, 3 days, and then really even a fourth little test on the top right there, right? It looked like there was some bad stuff happening, right? We lose almost every single moving average. We start to lose this 59.15 line, and then it really looked like we were heading to the bottom. But the last 3 days really turned things around, and we're back over some important lines. We're back over all the moving averages, and really, I'd like to see what tomorrow looks like, right? I still would play a little more sensitivity to this $65 line. Obviously, you can ride this here. There is a decent, not quite 10%, but there is some room if it opens in the positive and, makes another run up. But I think the safer play would be to wait to break 65, get a little confirmation, and then, ride just under 10% to 70, right? So my 2 cents. Obviously, this is not financial advice, but overall, MACD and RSI, they don't look bad, but they don't look great, right? They both have the green under the red. We want the green over the red. MACD is in the positive, but it's just barely at that zero line, right? And then RSI doesn't. It's actually relatively low, so there's plenty of room if this thing wants to run. So OXY, I'd want to get a confirmation that we're actually going to get over every single one of those moving averages, and then really I want to get over 65, right? So that's what I see on OXY. Next up is INDO, INDO. This is Indonesia Energy Corp. So we're going to have to zoom in again. Look, the last time we made this video was the 26th, and all we really did was stay in this line, the two lines right here, right? We call that a channel. More than that, really, we've just been really trading under the 8, right? It looked like it wanted to break the 20 here, looked like it wanted to break the 20 here, looked like it wanted to break the 630 line. I mean, a bunch of different things were happening in this little frame, but nonetheless, we're well under the 8, and really the two lines that we drew have been very much just watching this go through it, right? So I would not touch this thing. Number one, we have to get over the 8, so that's at the very minimum. From there, again, I think I'd want to get over the 630 number before I even consider this. Do I have any lines under 588? I do. So we do have the underlines if it failed. Again, even with the fail, right, it didn't really, it came a couple times. A number of these little wicks have actually touched this little line. So losing 588 would be horrible, right? Because the next line down is essentially at $5. So be careful with INDO. The MACD and RSI do look the same as they did with OXY, but again, a lot more bearish view here than with OXY, right? OXY was at least over the 8, over a number of other moving averages. This one's not. So not too much confidence in INDO, INDO. Next up, we're going to look at Camber Energy, CEI. So again, we made this video on the 26th. The last few days, right, we lost this 38 cents line, and then we just dropped pretty hard to this. Sorry, we lost the 38-cent line and then dropped to the 36-cent line. All the whole time, all we're doing is trading under the 8, right? So until you're over the 8, you don't want to touch the stock, right? That's not financial advice or anything like that, but that's kind of the lessons you learn on these videos, right? You want to be over the 8. That's essentially rule number 1. From there, it's, where are you sitting in terms of these manual lines that I'm drawing horizontally. Again, MACD and RSI really don't look great, and really these look worse than all of them. That with the fact that we actually just lost the 36-cent line somewhat considerably, right? Do I have any lines below that? I do. So again, we're just kind of moving pennies at this point. But yeah, CEI is actually not looking very good either. So far, OXY's really been the only one that has any sort of hope in it, I guess I would call it. I don't know what else to say, but yeah. Overall, oil, this is, I think, the last of the oil ones, and then we'll start moving into the energies. But yeah, just looking at IMPP, Imperial Petroleum, again, not looking very bullish. On a personal note, I like when oil stocks are down because, hey, my gas is cheaper, right? But yeah, if you've got money in these stocks, obviously you're a little on the sad side, right? So look, on the 26th, oh, this one was the 26th actually. So on the next day, wow, this was actually a pretty crazy day on IMPP. And I actually remember there was a little bit of bullishness on IMPP because, again, right, we had two monster days. We looked like we were about to break the 50. I mean, I get why it started up here, right? From there, I mean, it's just really sad to see it tank this hard. And then that should be no surprise to you that really it's going to be going downward again, right? Again, we've just been basically trading under the 8, obviously under the 20 as well. Do I have any lines down there? I don't. So, and there's also not a lot of history on IMPP. I'm going to put one at basically the IPO price down here. Oh, I think it's just a little too high. We'll call that. That's actually pretty much exactly where it was before I moved it. So, and then really, dang. So, this is actually looking a little scary. I will be honest with you. There's not a lot of past history to help this thing. And we're clearly, and I mean, I had to force that other line, right? Just kind of going back to, what is this, May? Yeah, late May. Be careful here on IMPP, unless for whatever reason there's some meme power here. Because again, this was a meme stock. Like look at this day one, right? Like that doesn't happen unless it's a meme stock, right? From 38 cents to, I mean, almost $7, right? What is that? I'm just kind of, yeah, 7.50. So this thing has, again, another one right here, right? When it was just completely hopeless. There was very little reason to believe it would go up. I mean, it does, right? So this one has that in it. All that said, I mean, it's not looking good. This little actual candle itself is somewhat of a positive one because it wanted to tank, but then it didn't, right? It closed a lot higher up and there's a pretty long wick. So a lot of people see this as a bullish sign. Again, for me, I care more about the lines and the moving averages than I do these actual shapes of candles. But different people trade different ways, and I'm not going to pretend mine is the best by any means. It's what I know. It makes me money, and it makes me happy, right? So we're going to come into energy a little bit. This is UEC. This is Uranium Energy Corp. Hey, Uranium Energy Corp's looked a lot nicer than oil, right? So we made this video on the 26th, like I've mentioned, and really all we've done is ridden above the 8 and broken some lines and moving averages, right? I mean, that's a great way to move up, right? And this is essentially what you want to see. So again, as lines are broken, you literally run up to the next moving average. It actually lined up with our line. We broke that, we broke that, we broke that, and then again, we kind of did this little test, right, between the 100 and our line, and you know, it's so far so good. I will say it's a little worrisome to see that we're now losing the 8, and it actually looks like the RSI is starting to cool off a little bit. That said, if you rode this since I made this video, I mean, there's plenty of profit, right? So you shouldn't be too worried, and hey, always get to bank. But a couple things I can see happening. Either we might even come as low as this line. I can see us maybe coming down to the 200 average and then bouncing back up. Obviously, I would love to bounce off this 100, but it seems like we might be losing the 8 moving average temporarily, right? Overall, it's been a very nice few days, few weeks almost. So I wouldn't be too sad if I made a move on this after watching the original video. So again, not every stock goes up every single day, right? So don't get sad when there's a little bit of a cool down. But let me see, do I have any lines above? I don't actually. So we literally broke every single line we made on the last video. So let's make a couple new ones if this thing keeps running. So I'll put one up there. I'll put one right there. Oh, it looks like we're pretty much on a good line right here, this 420 line. And actually, there's no need to put another one in between those. I like that. You can yeah, I'd be forcing it if I put it somewhere else. It's really just those two lines. So this also kind of explains why we're here, a little bit of the stalling. Again, yeah, I could see us dropping to this 390, hopefully at the lowest, bouncing off the 200. But again, a beautiful week and a half here for UEC. So hopefully you use these lines and the video to play that. Next up is GEVO, GEVO. Okay, look at that. Same thing with GEVO, actually. GEVO broke every single line that we made and really has just flown past the 50 and is working its way to the 100, right? So, again, another really nice chart to see. And look, we are basically filling this gap right here, right? I mean, geez, I love it. So, where are we sitting right now, just so I know, right? I'll draw a couple underneath lines as well, just in case this thing falls. But yeah, we're moving nicely. So let's put one. Let's put one right here. I'm going to use the top of this versus the bottom of that. Didn't quite line up, but I liked it. And look at that. It hits a number of wicks there. I do like that line. We will put one right there. Put one right there. Do I want to put one in between these? I could put one. I think that's a good line right there. I do, actually. I don't know if it lines up with this guy or not. Let me just actually use this guy. It didn't. All right, but I'm going to use this guy. Should I have used this guy? I don't know. Whatever. It's a couple cent different. I'll leave it. I probably should have used this guy. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, I probably should. It's okay. Whatever. Nonetheless, this is a good step up. And then let me put one just basically below, just to be safe. So there, really that's it. So I could have also used this line and it actually would have lined up with that line, but nonetheless, I think this is okay. So cool. GEVO did really well since making this video on the 26th. Again, just a matter of, look, it came down to this line, bounced off, won the 8, and then just rolled, right? So again, I say this again, I hope you use this video to ride GEVO. Lastly is LIACF. I talked about breaking out a lithium because, again, lithium kind of rides with EV. Obviously, you need lithium to make the batteries, and it really is its own little world. And again, pretty much the exact same comment from the last one, right? So when we made this video, it was the 26th. It was this day. Basically, we come down to give or take this line or the 8 moving average. And then all we're doing is riding up the 8, breaking some moving average lines, right? We broke the 50, broke the 100, and then broke actually every single one of the horizontals. So energy did much better than oil is what we can say from this quick summary. Let's see where we're at. Okay, real quick, I actually have not been talking about the lower indicators. This is a good example. We're at an 88 on the RSI. I think that might be the highest I've seen on an RSI since we've been making these videos. Normally it kind of like teeters around the like 70s before it calms down. I just want to call out 2 things. Number one, it could definitely go over 80 and you'll see it literally just kept running well past this 80 mark. 2, this is why I use past history to kind of see. Back here was the highest RSI. It kind of is lining up to where we're at. And then clearly there was a pretty hard calm down, right? So I might be a little hesitant here. I could see this, again, just calming down, right? If you pick this up on the 26th when we made this video, plenty of profit. So, hey, a little pullback shouldn't be bad. Obviously, there'll be some clear signs to get out, right? Either losing to 8, a couple lines, whatever your tolerance is, right? A lot of people have different tolerances, but we do have one line up here. Let me make a couple more until we get there. So I'll put one right there. We'll put one right there. I think that's it, right? I could put one right there, but again, I mean, that's pretty much also where we're sitting at. Again, I guess that is a little heavy a gap. So let's capture that. Okay. So I like this right here. Again, as you're playing in the smaller cent stocks, you're going to end up putting a little bit more lines just because there isn't that much spacing. Some people find this to be line overload. Some people don't mind it. Again, do what you will with these, but hopefully, as you've seen, you can use this info to really just gauge how a stock's going to go up, or really find yourself that price to just get in, right? If there's a hard wall to break, don't get in until it breaks, right? Or see the distance between the next two lines. Like, this is a smaller gap versus this one, right? We do have a moving average in the middle, so that might be a line in between, right? This was a really nice gap here, right? Only two. This lined up with the moving average, so they're essentially the same. So, there's different ways to play this, and as you watch more of these videos, I hope you gain some new strategies. But again, no financial advice. This is educational and informational only. I hope you're learning.